Election Commission instructs law enforcement agencies to ensure security of candidates as scrutiny of nomination papers continues. Election Commission has full authority to take measures against poll-related violence and indiscipline, says al-Qadir. Dr. Hassan Mahmood calls for inclusive international financial measures to tackle climate change. The 26th anniversary of historic Chattogram Hill Tracks Peace Accord observed amid various programs. A 5.6 magnitude earthquake jolts different parts of the country, including Dhaka, with its origin traced below Ramganj, Lokhipur. More than 240 Palestinians killed as Israeli forces continue attacks for the second day after ceasefire in Gaza.
বাংলার মানুষ যেন আর অপমানিত না হয়, আর এই শহীদরা হয়ে গেছে তাদের রক্তের সঙ্গে বেঈমানি যেন আমরা না করি। মনে রাখবেন, আপনারা নিশ্চয়ই বিশ্বাস করেন এবং জানেন শহীদের রক্ত কোনো দিন বৃথা যায় নাই, আর যাবেও না ইনশাআল্লাহ।
Scrutiny of nomination papers continuing for the 12th National Parliamentary election. Meanwhile, the Election Commission instructed the law enforcement agencies to ensure security of candidates from all political parties and individuals. Additional Secretary Ashok Kumar Debonath gave the instructions while addressing journalists on overall election situation, including the administrative transfers at the Election Commission Bhavan in Dhaka today. Ashok Kumar said 2,713 aspirant candidates from 29 registered political parties submitted nomination papers. Responding to a question from journalists, the Additional Secretary said the decision to transfer OCs and UNOs was taken on the basis of field-level information. The transfers will not cause any chaos, he added.
না, আমি মনে করি কোনো সুযোগ নাই, কেন সে প্রজাতন্ত্রের একজন কর্মচারী, যে উপজেলায় বা যে জেলায় হোক না কেন সেখানে দায়িত্ব পালন করবে, সে সুষ্ঠুভাবেই দায়িত্ব পালন করবে। নিরাপত্তার দায়িত্ব হলো আমাদের আইন শৃঙ্খলা বাহিনী। তারা আইন শৃঙ্খলা বাহিনী যদি নিরাপত্তাটা নিশ্চিত করতে পারে, সেটাই হলো আমাদের কাম্য। সেনা মোতায়েনের সিদ্ধান্ত যদি কমিশন মনে করে নিতে পারে, কিন্তু এই মুহূর্তে এই বিষয়ে কোনো সিদ্ধান্ত আমার জানা নাই।
Awami League General Secretary al-Qadir said Election Commission has full authority to take measures against any conflict and indiscipline involving the polls. So the Awami League will welcome the decisions of the Commission, he added. Qadir said this at a press briefing at the Awami League President's political office at Dhanbandi in the capital today.
নির্বাচন সংক্রান্ত কোথাও কোনো ক্ল্যাশ বা কোথাও কোনো সংঘাত হলে, বিশৃঙ্খলা হলে পুরো দায়িত্ব এখন নির্বাচন কমিশন। নির্বাচন কমিশন যে সিদ্ধান্ত নেবে, আমরা তাদের সেই সিদ্ধান্তের প্রতি আমাদের আস্থা থাকে। এখন আর সরকারের কথায় আইন প্রয়োগকারী সংস্থার বা অন্য কোনো সরকারি গুরুত্ব নির্বাচন রিলেটেড কর্মকাণ্ড এখন আর সরকারের কথা চলবে না। সরকার এখন জাস্ট একটা রুটিন ওয়ার্ক করবে। মেজর কোনো পলিসি ডিসিশন সরকারের হাতে এখন নেই।
Awami League General Secretary said BNP could not discourage people from participating in the polls by enforcing Hartal blockade and unleashing arson violence. There will be a record turnout of voters in the upcoming election, hoped.
অনেক বাধা বিপত্তি, আন্দোলনের নামে ষড়যন্ত্র, আগুন সন্ত্রাস, অবরোধ, হরতাল, এইসব কর্মসূচি দিয়েও বাংলাদেশের জনগণকে নির্বাচন বিমুখ করা সম্ভব হয়নি। যে গণমুখী রাজনীতি না করে ষড়যন্ত্রের চোরাগুলিতে পা রাখা বিএনপির আজকে এই দুরবস্থা, তাদের দলে বিভক্তি আমরা করতে যাইনি। আমরা কোনো দলকে ভাগ করা এটা আমাদের নীতি নয়। তারা নিজেরাই নিজেদের স্বার্থে তারা তাদের দলে সর্বনাশা ভুল নীতি আজকে তাদের দলের মধ্যে বিভেদ সৃষ্টি করেছে। বিএনপিকে ভাঙতে পারেনি একথা যারা বড় গলায় বলেন, উঁচু গলায় বলেন, তারা এটা সত্য বলছেন না। কারণ আজকে তৃণমূল বিএনপি যে এত প্রার্থী মনোনয়ন দিয়েছে এবং এরা সকলেই বিএনপির লোক, বেশিরভাগই বিএনপি থেকে আসা নেতা কর্মী। আজকে বিএনপির নেতৃত্বের উপর হতাশ হয়ে আজকে যারা নির্বাচন করছেন, বিএনপির সাবেক নেতা, বর্তমান নেতাদেরও অনেকে নির্বাচন করছেন। কাজেই অংশগ্রহণমূলক নির্বাচন বলতে যা বোঝায়, প্রায় 29টি নিবন্ধিত দল এই নির্বাচনে অংশ নিয়েছে। এর থেকে দূরে আছে বিএনপি সহ 14-15টি দল, কিন্তু বেশিরভাগ নিবন্ধিত দল আজকে নির্বাচনে এসেছে, তারা নির্বাচন করছে এবং আমরা এটা বিশ্বাস করি বাংলাদেশে যারা ভোটার টার্ন আউট নিয়ে সন্দেহ পোষণ করেন। আমি ইতিমধ্যে আমরা যে দৃশ্যপট নির্বাচনে দেখতে পাচ্ছি তাতে কিন্তু রেকর্ড সংখ্যক ভোটার উপস্থিতি আমরা দেখতে পাবো।
Awami League President Member Kamrul Islam, Joint General Secretary AFM Bahauddin Naseem among the central leaders of the party were present at the press conference. Information Broadcasting Minister and the head of Bangladesh delegation at the COP28 high-level segment, Dr. Hassan Mahmood, called on the international community to form a coordinated and universally inclusive international financial system to meet the increasing cost of dealing with climate change. Mentioning the need for saving the planet Earth, Dr. Hassan Mahmood made the call while addressing a high-level program titled Rising with the Tide, tracking reforms in international financial architecture for accelerated development, positive climate action in Dubai this afternoon. Dr. Hassan Mahmood said according to the vision of Bangabandhu's daughter, Bangladesh is moving forward in using 40% green energy by 2041.
Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has taken the initiative to provide shelter to the homeless people, and a special focus on the people who are displaced because of the climate change. And special planning of the houses has been done. It's elevated houses, and elevated houses have been provided to the people who are displaced because of the climate change in the coastal region. And also very decent shelter have been provided in Cox's Bazar district for 4,400 people. In the multi-state building, flats are provided. All those people are displaced because of the climate change. We are talking about global financing for a long time, long 15 years. And every year $100 million, we should raise $100 million. And how much per year? $2-3 billion? And we very often see that present ODA, Overseas Development Assistance, is amalgamated with the contribution to the climate fund. So, and there is a big ambiguity. And on the other hand, what we have been saying, we belong to the world, we belong to the planet. Planet does not belong to us. Before human came to this planet, 2 million years back, 2.7 billion years back, first the life began on this planet. And after a few millions, all those lives were abolished because of the change in the climate, because of other changes.
presided over by President, Chairman of Climate Vulnerable Forum and Vulnerable 20 Group, President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. The program was also addressed by next Chairman of the Forum and Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley. President of Sri Lanka, Ranil Wickremesinghe, thematic ambassador of the Forum, Saima Wazid, and First Secretary General Muhammad Nasheed. The President of Ghana highly praised the 2 tenures of the forum led by Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on behalf of the climate vulnerable countries. Later, Dr. Hassan Mahmoud also participated at COP28 Presidency Roundtable meeting titled Accelerating Water and Climate Action. Today is the 26th anniversary of the historic Chittagong Hill Tracts Accord. On December 2 in 1997, this agreement was inked to bring back peace and stability in the hill tracts, as well as ensuring harmony and fraternity between the Hilly people and Bengalis. Cordial efforts by then Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina-led government helped ink this historic accord with a view to restoring peace in the hill tracts by stopping bloodshed and violence. Due to the deal, the scenario in Chittagong Hill Tracts changed drastically and the region saw a massive progress in socio-economic fields. To mark the 26th CHT Peace Accord, officials of Chittagong Hill Tracts Affairs Ministry placed wreaths at the portrait of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman at Dhanmondi 32 in the capital today. Besides, on the occasion of the day, various programs including discussion, rally and free medical camps were arranged in the hill districts. Speaker Dr. Srin Sharmin Chaudhary has said main philosophy of the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is to deliver the benefits of freedom to the deprived people of the country. She said this while addressing a publication ceremony in the capital today. She unveiled the cover of the book Sheikh Hasina, The Making of an Extraordinary South Asian Leader, written by Australian expatriate Dr. Abul Hasnat Milton. The speaker said Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's compassion towards Tungipara is an expression of her bond with her roots and soil. She said Sheikh Hasina crossed the path of pain alone with a strong spirit in a terrible loneliness after 1975. Education Minister Dr. Deepu Moni, members of the Parliament Sajjadul Hassan and Muhammad Ali Arafat, Governor of Bangladesh Bank, and senior military and civil officials were present on the occasion. A 5.6 magnitude earthquake jolted different parts of the country, including the capital this morning. The quake was felt in Chattogram, Rajshahi, Sylhet, Rangpur, Chuadanga, Noakhali, Kushtia and other parts of the country. Meteorological Office said that the place of origin of the earthquake was Ramganj, Lokhipur. According to the United States Geological Survey, USGS, the epicenter of the earthquake is 8 kilometers east-northeast of Ramganj Upazila in Lokhipur district. Many people came out of their houses in fear during the earthquake. No casualties or damage were reported so far. Now, international news. 240 people have been killed and hundreds of others wounded as Israeli forces resumed their bombardment. Civilians in the enclave reported that the Israeli army dropped leaflets calling on them to move southwards towards Rafah despite overnight attacks in that area. Reports say as hostilities resumed, Hamas's armed wing received the order to resume combat and to defend the Gaza Strip. Fears of a wider regional conflict grew after the Syrian Defense Ministry said Israeli strikes had hit Damascus on Saturday, and Hezbollah said one of its members had been killed in an Israeli strike on Lebanon on Friday. International leaders and humanitarian groups condemned the return to fighting. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on X, formerly Twitter, "I deeply regret that military operations have started again in Gaza." The United States said it is working with regional partners to reach another ceasefire. However, Israel has ordered its Mossad negotiation team in Doha to return to Israel due to what is called an impasse. 7 days of hostage prisoner exchanges had yielded tearful reunion of Israeli families with the released relatives and jubilation of the streets of the occupied West Bank as Palestinian prisoners walked free from Israeli jails. The United States has given so-called bunker buster bombs and an array of the munitions to Israel for its war on Gaza. Reports citing unnamed U.S. officials says Washington has transferred 109 bombs to Israel that are meant to penetrate hardened structures before exploding. The bomb carries a warhead weighing more than 900 kilograms and has previously been used by the U.S. in conflicts including the war in Afghanistan. It is not the only type of ammunition provided by the U.S. to Israel for the war on the besieged enclave, which has so far killed more than 15,000 Palestinians, including at least 6,150 children in October 7 Hamas attack on Israel that started the war killed 1,200 people. Russia said its troops were advancing in every section of the Ukrainian front despite observers seeing little movement. The front lines have been barely shifted in 2023, but fighting has remained intense in the latest major flashpoint is the nearly encircled industrial town of Avdiivka, where Ukraine said it was fending off assaults. In a briefing with Russia's top military brass, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said his men were effectively and firmly inflicting fire damage on the Ukrainian armed forces, significantly reducing their combat capabilities. Despite Moscow's insistence, its forces were making headway. President Vladimir Putin issued a decree Friday that would boost troop numbers 15%. In recent days, improving weather conditions following powerful storms across southern Ukraine and Russia earlier this week have enabled Russia's forces to intensify their assaults and use drones again, Ukrainian officials said. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has urged world leaders at the COP28 climate summit to plan for a future without fossil fuels, saying there was no other way to curb global warming. Speaking a day after COP28, President Sultan Ahmed Al-Jaber proposed embracing the continued use of fossil fuels. Guterres said we cannot save a burning planet with a fire hose of fossil fuels. The 1.5-degree limit is only possible if we ultimately stop burning all fossil fuels, not reduce, not abate, he said on Friday, referring to nascent technologies to capture and store carbon emissions. The competing versions summed up the difficulty of the UN climate talks in the oil-producing United Arab Emirates, where divisions over the fossil fuels and acrimony over lagging financial and geopolitical tensions around the war in Gaza threatened to distract delegates from making progress. Now some other international news in brief. Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered the country's military to increase the maximum number of troops by nearly 170,000 people as Moscow invasion of Ukraine continues into its 22nd month.
Effective January 1st, 2023.
EU United Nations political mission in war-wracked Sudan ends tomorrow after the UN Security Council voted to shut it down following a request from Sudanese authorities last month.
Respond to the calls.
Unity times in Sudan have been since April. The mission was established to back Sudan during its political transition.
The foreign ministers of military-ruled Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger recommended creating a confederation as part of a long-term goal of uniting the West African neighbors with the federation.
At an unspecified date, Taco Gurma Charter, named after the Panama system.
South Korea confirmed today its first military spy satellite had reached orbit after a successful SpaceX rocket launched and that communication was established with ground control.
Miles per hour horizontally.
relight the Center E9 engine.
Scientists have created tiny living robots from human cells that can move around in a lab dish and may one day be able to help heal wounds or damaged tissue, according to new study.
Cells robots have the potential for repairing spinal cord or
The construction work of the Hathi-Kamrul interchange of Sirajganj is going on in full swing. After the land acquisition works of sand piling, setting up of boundary walls, roads and culverts and piling of the main structure are underway. The total work progress of the project is 15%. Those concerned with the project said the construction of the Hathi-Kamrul interchange will be completed by December 2025. China Railway Bridge Corporation is implementing the project with a cost of 743 crore taka. The project is being implemented under the SASEC 2 project to ease the traffic movement of 22 north-southern districts. Upon completion of the interchange, there will be no traffic congestion from Hathi-Kamrul to Dhaka, covering 22 districts. Now, weather. The deep depression over southwest Bay of Bengal and adjoining area moved west-northwestwards further and now lies over the same area. It is likely to move west-northwestwards and intensify further. Maritime ports of Chattogram, Coxbazar, Mongla and Paira have been advised to keep hoisted distant cautionary signal number 1. I repeat, distant cautionary signal number 1. All fishing boats and trawler over North Bay and Deep Sea have been advised to remain close to the coast and proceed with caution till further notice. Meanwhile, Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said weather may remain dry with temporary partly cloudy sky over the country. Light fog may occur at places over northern part and the river basins of the country during late night till morning. Now news on sports. Bangladesh sealed their first test victory at home against New Zealand on Saturday. Taijul Islam was adjudged man of the match. To end the bulletin headlines, once again. Change. The 26th anniversary of historic Chattogram Hull Tracks Peace Accord observed amid various programs. A 5.6 magnitude earthquake jolts different parts of the country, including Dhaka, with its origin traced below Ramganj, Lokhipur. More than 240 Palestinians killed as Israeli forces continue attacks for the second day after ceasefire in Gaza. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us, and we invite you to watch our next bulletin that's coming up at 11:30. Until then,